Hey folks, got a super exciting project going on right now, one that is really gonna make a big difference in our cabin. If you see behind me, I've got some cedar tongue and groove. We picked this up here in Maine, and we've got just enough of it to do one of the cabins. So we are installing our tongue and groove siding today. We decided to go with tongue and groove simply because, number one, it looks great, it smells great, it is really easy to put up, and it really gives a really nice look and feel to the inside of the cabin. If you're not familiar with tongue and groove, it is really simple to use. So basically, you've got your tongue side and you've got your groove side. And one thing I did notice on these is when you're installing these, there is a right and wrong side. So this side here, that's got this little cut, this nice little cut here, that is what's going to be on the facing side. This back side, where it's a little 90-degree cut, that goes on against the studs or against whatever media you're putting this up against. And so basically, again, it's pretty simple. You have your one piece, you attach that to your studs, take your second piece, and it simply slides right in, hence the tongue and groove. Now, we've already started in the cabin. We were going to try and put this off to do it once it gets a little colder, but we realized that we've got some limited resources here, and what I'm standing in is my enclosed trailer. Now, we've dropped off one of our snow machines at a local mechanic who is going to get it all fixed up for us and ready for the winter. But this is the only trailer I have to pick it up in. So I've got to get all this wood out of here, and I have no place to store it outside. So we are installing it in the cabin. Now, we did decide to wait a little bit on doing this project, at least getting the materials for this project, because originally when we bought these cabins, we had originally talked to the builder and we were going to purchase the tongue and groove, which is very similar to the siding on the outside of the cabin, from them. Unfortunately, with the wood prices skyrocketing like they did earlier this year, it was simply no longer in the budget. And so once we got the insulation up, we concluded that we were simply going to have to wait to get siding. Then this stuff came up, and we had to jump on it. The price was right. It was quite a drive to get to it, such is life here in Maine. But we're really happy that we were able to do it. Now, this siding is going in the bathroom, den, bedroom cabin. And that way, our hope is to at least have that cabin completely finished going into winter. Now, we still have to do the ceiling, but if you can see this big white pile there, that is our ceiling. Those are also cedar planks. Those are not tongue and groove, they're just simply planks. We picked those up for a really good price as well. So, we decided to go with the planks. Now, the problem with the planks, obviously is there's no, you're not going to have that nice seamless look. But honestly, after putting up our bathroom and the cedar planks that we use there, we really like the gaps in it. It really kind of just gives it a really nice rustic feel to it. So, at any rate, project for another day. Today, let's cut some tongue and groove. So when cutting this stuff, the first thing I've realized is that you've really got to make sure that your ends are nice and 90 and squared off at 90 degrees. If they're not, when you go to put them in on the wall, you will have some gaps there. So to get that nice cut, use your square, put your square, run your skill saw right up along the edge of your square, and you've got your 90 degrees. From there, I just flip it over. Now in this particular case, I need to measure out 36.5 inches, so I'm just going to measure the 36.5. Mark it. Use my square. Get my line. And then one of the little tricks that I've learned over, after being out here is that this square is multifunctional and is such an asset. So in the past, I would make my line, take my skill saw, and try to run it along the line and make it straight. Unfortunately, I'm not the best at this, and so my lines would be kind of wiggly sometimes. With the square, again, same idea as cutting off the edge there. Put my square up, line it up to the line, and it gives me a perfect straight cut. Now I need 18 of these pieces, so we're just going to keep cutting. So if you guys have any tips or tricks, from installing this stuff, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear about some personal experiences on this stuff. I watched a ton of videos on this. I've read a lot of articles on it. It is pretty straightforward. But, one thing I've certainly learned is that there are a lot of tips and tricks and things that people have come up with to make these jobs so much easier. So leave those in the comments, because I will certainly read them. And if it's something I can do, I will certainly, use it going forward. So another thing that I'll say is that the overall spread that I need, and we'll see that in just a minute in the area that I'm working at in the cabin, is 61.5. Now I don't have a lot of this material, so I have to be very sparingly with it and be smart about how I'm cutting it. So what I've done is I've cut some 61.5 spans, and now what I'm doing is cutting some 36.5 and 25 inch lengths. And what I will do is, as we put a groove, or as we have a cut on the one side of the wall, we'll then come over the top of it with a 61 to kind of tie everything together. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough 61s to do that totally. So what we'll do is I've cut the lengths so that as they go up, they kind of overlap each other all the way up the wall. And that's, again, really just to tie everything together, make sure that it all fits nice, it's tight. We're not going to have any, mishaps with it. So go get it. My little helper here, Whitco, he is constantly just hanging out with me. He does get in the way a lot, but you know what? That's okay. I love having him hang out with me. Australian cattle dogs are quite the breed. They are extremely intelligent, but boy are they demanding when it comes to exercise and so forth. So ain't that right, Whitco? Huh? You're a little demanding poo-poo head, aren't you? Yes, you are. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and I'll see you guys inside. All right, folks, so now we are in our bedroom, and as you can see, we've already brought the paneling up just below the window. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put paneling on this side with those pieces I just cut. We've got 4 sections that have the 36.5 by 25, and then I've got a couple of 61.5 inch pieces here that we'll just kind of throw in there to tie everything together without having any of those gaps here. So as I showed earlier, they go together really simple. Basically what we'll do is we'll start in the corner here, and again, remember this little tapered edge here is the piece that's going to be facing out, and I sit it in there and it just sits right inside. Grab the next piece, same thing. Now to help close this gap here, all I'm doing is just kind of pushing it, making sure everything is seated nice. And then, so online they talk about how to install these panels. Some people say brad nails, some people say, you know, you need to use framing nails. We're not going to have a lot of stuff on the walls. We're not so worried about too much weight. So we just decided to go with 1 3/4 inch brad nails. I've pulled on these things and they tend to be, they seem to be really, really tight on the walls. So that's what we're going to go with. And that's that. The next layer, since I got my groove here, I'm going to put a larger piece to kind of tighten that or hold that groove together, and then just keep building it. Now after a couple of those pieces, I'm going to go ahead and put this one single piece over, again just for the integrity of the wall. The life of an Australian cattle dog. This is like 24 hours a day with this thing, except at night. What's up, Psycho? What's up, Psycho dog?
What you doing, babe?
done. I am finishing up this wall in here. So I only have one row left here to do, and then we're gonna call it a day with our bedroom walls. We don't have enough of this tongue and groove to do much more, so we're going to just wrap this up and call it a day in here. But for right now, I'm just putting this last piece on this row, and then I got, like I said, one more row. So I'm happy that we're almost done.
So how much did we not have to complete?
Yeah, so here we had this section here, right here, this section, and on the other side. But what I think we're going to do is the same type of wood we used in the bathroom, that reclaimed cedar fence post. I think I have enough to do this and our interior wall with it. So, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. That's like my go-to saying right now. Everything is kind of fly by the pants, but so yeah, we're getting there. Oh, out of nails.
Go figure.
Yeah.